to give us all the this topic. I'm talking about Professor Osita Ogbu, the Prof.
It looks like they built this thing. Is it for what? What is it? For the Bible? I don't understand this concept. What is this for? Yeah? Oh, there's a door. Ah. Remember, I have a below the lecture. How did you people bring something that is broken for me to speak on? They said there's a door. But it doesn't make sense. If I hear you make no sense, it means there is something on top of it. Now I can place my paper. It's chairman. Hello. Maybe it's recording. In fact, sometimes I even ban journalists from taking what I'm saying. But, Mr. Chairman, my brother, house of friend, I hope you aspire to replace your governor of this day. No, you're welcome. And this is my old son, Emmanuel Ikej, who insisted that I must come. I actually left the meeting in order to be here. And I will leave here to go back to it. Unfortunately, the demand for our time, my time, becomes impossible for me to meet. In 2007 or so, it's been a long time that I went to the press center. When I wanted to meet the governor of Enugu State, I came here to address the press. That time, many of you were not born. You were young. You will not remember. In 2007, you were not journalists. Let's put it that way. And after I gave my press briefing, the journalists were saying, Osita Ogbu will be the best candidate, best. So I asked them, what is the best? And the answer varied. Oh, when he gets into government, we might not be able to talk. He is one of the Los Angeles due process people. He cannot do the mago of politics. But you know, all those answers will tell you something about journalism. And I want you to take this very seriously. In 1778, you can imagine, the fourth president of the United States, James Madison, he said that the object of governance is the promotion. But he said again that the second part of this object is knowing the best means of procuring this happiness. So even if you know that happiness is the object, do you have the knowledge of the means? So, for instance, you may come on day one and remove subsidy. That in itself is a demonstration of will, but it may not reflect a demonstration of scale. This was the statement made in 1778. But I have also now translated that statement to reflect on what I want to tell you. A good journalist implies two things. First, fidelity with the object of journalism, which is to serve public interest by shaping public discourse, holding power accountable, and building informed citizenship. Can you imagine the assignment you to journalists? Serving public interest through shaping public discourse, holding power accountable, and building informed citizenship. And here's the second level. You have to have knowledge, ability, aptitude, the outlook, the means required to achieve this object. How can you shape public discourse if the people you're shaping public discourse are more knowledgeable than you are? How can you serve public interest if all you are interested in is private interest? How can you be allowed into where there is public discourse when your dressing and outlook doesn't give you that prestige to be part of the discussion? You know, in the university, many years ago, during Professor Batokolo's reign as Vice Chancellor of University, by the way, they keep saying I'm comma this, I'm comma that. I have a present address. I am a professor of economics at University of Nigeria. So I have a present address. Batokolo thought we should take university professors, administrators on a retreat. That retreat essentially was to change mindset, to change outlook. I mean, professors now go to classrooms wearing slippers. I see lecturers at the corridor and I say, does this one teach here? And they say yes. I said, how? How come he's teaching here? It doesn't present like a lecturer. I was at IMT many years ago, and somebody was knocking at my door. I want to give a public lecture like this. And I was about to leave my driver was about to leave. This person was knocking. I thought it was somebody trying to beg me for money. So I was busy struggling to bring that money from my pocket. When I went down, I said, he said, no, you don't remember me. Oh, I was this with you in secondary school. I said, what are you doing here? He said, I teach here. Somebody I thought was begging me for money is a teacher there, and because of the way he looked. And so I tell everybody, when you see that I'm well dressed, it's because he's a son, he's stood up by me. It's not about money. If you have an abada, let it be clean. If you have, don't just wake up from your house and when I was in my bag about to get out, did you see what I was doing? Did you? You didn't. I was polishing my shoe. In the car. Because I rushed but there's always a punishing matter. Because I didn't want to walk in here and my shoes are just, I can do that. Nobody will even notice. But it has become a culture that I must present myself in a particular way. That presentation commands respect. To shape society means there are rulers, lawmakers, and citizens that you guys must interact with. To create positive change, it means, by the way, the business of journalism is not an all-commerce affair. Please, this is a very small. You are called the fourth president of the realm. There is a history to it. In England, in those days, you know there is the nobility. No, the clergy first, then the nobility, then the commoners, then the press. Clergy, nobility, the commoners, and the press. And the press were supposed to interact with these three sets of rulers. Not only interact, but put them in check. Journalism acts as an effective guardrail for society. All one except the boundaries. If somebody is misbehaving, you are supposed to show your light of that behavior. But my point is, you yourself must be doing. You have to invest in reading, in educating yourself, in packaging yourself, in understanding current issues. You know, I attend so many conferences, and people watch to me. I'm a journalist from there, I want to interview. Even the depth of the questions they ask, even on television, no follow-up question, no. Mr. Chairman, maybe we should now move to have charter journalists. Let me read the information. What? Charter journalists. So that if you are chartered, it means you have made significant, serious requirements. It's not about carrying notebook and a microphone and then you become a journalist. Think about what I just said. You shape public discourse. You hold power accountable. You build informed citizenship. These are serious assignments given to journalists. So, promotion of public dialogue between citizens, civil society, government, and setting up economic and political barriers. In fact, I think that maybe journalists themselves do not realize how important their job is. But you know, I was telling you about how we went on the retreat. What was the essence of the retreat? To repackage and change mindset. In the course of that retreat, professors, directors were saying, we are mirroring society, meaning if society is bad, society is ugly, if society is dirty, we too will be dirty. I've never heard anything more. I said, no. The university is where people come to learn how things ought to be. It is not a place to copy society. Society comes into the university to learn the standards. And here we are, teachers, professors saying, you know, our society is corrupt, so we are corrupt. Our society is not well organized, so the Igbo translation of the university is what? How can you be able to and you are the one mirroring their man. The standard there has become a copycat. So you can see where we are coming from. So as a journalist, you are the standard bearer of society. You are the one promoting dialogue. You are the one checking rulers. You are the one checking those who are supposed to be governing us, whether in the village, whether in the House of Rep, whether at the government. Because you're going to tell me that the journalists are not well paid. But sometimes you're not even paid. It's like ground petrol. That cannot be the journalism that we are speaking about. It cannot be. Journalism is not, if you're freelance, it means you know what you're doing and you are self-employed. Freelance doesn't mean go and start collecting 10 naira. No. Even when you are going to interview, how do you present yourself? If you don't know what those you are going to replace are doing, how can you replace it? I used to do work for the Nigerian Communications Commission. One of the things I would love to tell them is you have to be ahead of your regularity. Meaning, you must know what MTN knows. You must know what Airtel knows. If you are regulating an industry and the participants in that industry, the agents in that industry, have superior knowledge than you, you have to be 2 steps ahead. So please don't join the profession of journalism if you don't have hunger for knowledge. If you are not interested in current issues, if you are not interested in shaping public discourse through your writing, through your interviews, and so on. This is a noble profession. Because we are in a democracy, and your job working around how do we get our democracy right? But it's not just your job. However, all of us are concerned about the current practice of democracy in Nigeria. Democracy has written rules, constitution. They also have referees. The court, the electoral institution, call it INEC. And of course, you now journalists, you are part of the referee. And it is not just written rules, there are also norms that we have accepted as part of the democracy. They are not written, but they are behavioral norms. For survival and longevity, written constitutions are reinforced by their own unwritten rules of the game. What we call soft guardrails of democracy, preventing political competition from developing into serious conflicts. As you will see in the minute, there are pillars of democracy. If there are no guardrails, that is why recently I wrote a piece on the organized election that is coming. We don't throw power to the street. If you throw power to the street and say, let the election resolve it, supposing a madman grabs the power, what happens? That's why there is a sort of pre-selection before we go to the competition. Certain people, that's why the exercise, to pre-select those who can now compete. Otherwise, if you throw power to the street, you never know who will grab it. Norms are more than personal disposition. It's not something you believe in. They are unwritten rules. They do not rely on political leaders' idiosyncrasies or character, but on shared code of conduct that becomes common knowledge, accepted, respected, and enforced by members. So even though they are not written rules, they are enforced. This is not the way, even when it is not. And we expect journalists to be the one to be guiding us. In this democracy we are practicing, we are becoming a little nervous because it seems as if those who have studied this process and have given us the guidelines on what this represents and how it can come out better, that we seem to be violating all the pillars. One of the pillars, and these are things you as journalists must be watching. Do we have mutual toleration? Mutual toleration means you accept your opponent as legitimate, not an enemy. In other words, the other person vying for office has a legitimate claim to back for that office. That is vying in another party doesn't make him my enemy. Mutual toleration, mutual tolerance. When you, as journalists, observe that protestants are becoming enemies, are you able to shine that light? Are you able to shape the discourse to remind them that they are not enemies? Just a political context. The second one is what we call institutional forbearance. Part of democracy is restraint. When you have power, you exercise all the power. Or can you restrain yourself from exercising the power that even you have? Forbearance. I can do, but I will not. I can send police to your house, I will not. You know, when I was running for office, they used to, some people were very often that I came to run for office. What is a decent man like you doing in this arena? As if politics should be learned for indecent people. I said, it's not that rubbish. If you come close to power and you know what power can be used for, okay? You cannot leave power for that. You can't. I tell you, this gathering here, we are getting. This one is better. This gathering of president. You know what will come from the government house and shopping? Yes. All they will say is that the man was Osita Ogbu is coming to speak, and we are not interested in what he is going to. But they They will just send 5% here, and this meeting will not go. That is the nature of power that people have. But what we are saying is that because democracy requires forbearance, it means you must restrain yourself from exercising such power, even when you can do it. That's how democracy survives. First, there is mutual toleration. Second, there is institutional forbearance, personal forbearance, governance forbearance, president forbearance. I have the power, but I will not do it. The other one is my favorite. Democracy is predicated on a modern state. The practice of democracy requires that you operate a modern state. What is a modern state? The modern state has passed the patrimonial stage, the new patrimony, meaning patrimony means government by me, my family, my friends, and so on. A modern state has a bureaucracy, a structure that is dependent on merit. You know, in the early days, before we started having democratic government, because don't take it for granted. People like to be around their own people. People like the people they know. If you go and read some of my writings, I kept saying we need to expand the circle of trust. We need leaders who can expand the circle, their circle of trust. I served Obasanjo. I was actually abroad when he brought me back. He didn't know me, but somebody recommended me to him. Professor Chukwu said, I have a friend whom I think can do this job. So Obasanjo was expanding his circle of trust. And so with many others that came into his government. Looked at your CV, saw your competence, and you brought you in. So you can't say, I will only work with the people that I know. That's not how the modern state operates. In fact, the modern state that is based on merit arose because when nations were confronted by wars, by aggression, they look for competent people to fight it. You cannot target your own. Because I don't know. So, if you are in a crisis that we are in, you look for the most competent. Whether it is insurgency we're having or terrorism or economy, that's the requirement of it. Journalists have a role in shining light on all of this. But you cannot shine light if you lack knowledge. If what I'm telling you is strange to your ear, you've never heard it, you don't know. You don't know. How can you promote this dialogue? How can you shape public view? How can you help us hold people accountable if you don't do these requirements? You know, when we say that the crisis in Nigeria and Africa is the absence of state capacity. State capacity is defined by that merit-based bureaucracy, that ability to incentivize and to punish. Meaning, you must have a state that has the capacity to enforce rules and to punish offenders and to also promote those who do good. The third pillar, very important pillar, is the rule of law. The rule of law means all, not some, everyone, including the president, is subjected to the law. There is a difference. You know, there's another one called rule by law, not rule of law, rule by law. If you rule by law, you create laws and govern others by law. This, I'm asking you, you should be examining, you should be writing about, you should be shaping our views and dialogue around this matter. It actually, if I may remember, go back to the other point, it is the modern state that is based on merit that creates a sense of national identity. And it is national identity, sense of national identity that creates loyalty to the nation. So when everybody is going through these various ways, this morning somebody called me and we were talking, and I said, you know, when you read my latest book, Development and Attitude, you will find that I discuss a lot about citizenship. A citizen is not simply somebody born in a country. A citizen is one who has citizens' rights and citizens' responsibilities. And one is a citizen when he has a stake in the country. It's not just a matter of I was born there. Why do you think people destroy things that are supposed to be help them? We have done a hospital, we have done a local government. They don't believe that. Rule of law. Democratic accountability. You know, sometimes when you confront an elected member, the House of Reps, Senator, the governor, the president, you know, you guys are discussing other things. The hall is not quiet. They will tell you, wait for the 4 years, you can put us out. That's not the democratic accountability. No. You are in power now to deliver now. These 4 years, you must deliver. It's not, let's wait for another 4 years. No. So, one of the pillars of democracy is to have this democratic accountability. That you understand your responsibility to those who put in power. You understand the power they have. You understand their own aspirations. Remember, the role of the journalist is to interface, to convey our feelings. Not every citizen has even have a view of meeting their representative. The role of the journalist is to act as an intermediary that conveys these feelings from citizens to those who are planted as the fourth instinct of the web. Checking the logo, checking the bleeding, checking. You know, we seem to be trapped in our past. what worries some of us is how can we make incremental progress? One step forward. If we say I rep, it should be I rep. If we say beavers, it should be beavers, and even improve on it. Not I rep beavers, then we go back, then we find fault, then new elections must improve on the old. We cannot afford to be trapped in the past. You know, a couple of years ago, many years ago, because I'm talking to journalists and their outlook, their mindset. You know, a good mindset to have is not to settle for the table that has been set, but to move towards the one that has not been set. That's a good mindset to have. You can't simply think what is important is what do I get today? Are you building a name for yourself? Are you building a certain standard for yourself? I was invited by Imo State government many years ago to run what I had designed as finishing school. Actually, I designed it because I was going to run for government school. And I said, you know, knowledge is not enough. As important as knowledge is, you know, I teach my children when they were young, and now they are adults. I said, you know, many people with first class are not successful. They have high IQ, but very low EQ. EQ is emotional quotient. They don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. Some of them. It's good to make first class, but the first class must be combined with emotional intelligence. First class only measures IQ, intelligence quotient. There is emotional quotient is the perseverance, the outlook we're talking about, the positiveness of people, the connectedness, the imamadonia. People don't become people without people. How come I introduce two people, only one that will help them? Only one maintains contact, the other doesn't. One of the hotels I stayed in, the young man was cleaning my room. He cleaned the one he left. Then two came and said, what's going on? Why are you not in school? You know, the usual thing is money, I don't want. I said, okay, did you pass and pass well? Oh, yeah, I passed. I don't know, you know, never met him just that he was cleaning my room. I said, when you go back, please bring me your papers. He returns the next day, cleans my room, walks away. I called him back. I said, they're supposed to give me your papers. He said, no, I forgot. I said, okay, we can go. He comes tomorrow, finishes cleaning my room, walks away. I didn't know what to make of this. Obviously, he doesn't have papers. But you see, he could have said so. That would have been the beginning of the conversation. I could have said, what do you need to get it right? Or something. God doesn't send angels, they send people. I don't know where you come from, it's not my business. I just saw a young person and I felt, what are you doing here? This is not your business. And he has same thing subsequently. He has never received it. Tomorrow he will say, I didn't go to school because my parents didn't have money. That's it. And I can give many instances. I come to a lecture like this, and I make a young person. Throwing all kinds of things at you. You're struggling to survive. But what I can tell you is that if you sign to be a journalist, if it is one shirt that you have, make it finish. And that's the story I was telling you about the finishes. I went to Imo State, gave exams based on the money that the Imo government gave. I recruited 50 graduates without jobs. Finishing. The first day they landed, oh wow, what have I to say? So I counted 10,000 and I gave each of them. I said, go to a barber, cut your hair. I ordered toilet bag from Lagos that has nail cutter, shoe polish, female nail polish, shoe shining, everything is in the toilet bag. Deodorants. You can't have a journalist coming to interview you and you're closing your ear. It doesn't make sense. I gave them 3 days to now polish. I said, buy 3 shirts and 2 red ties. This finishing school, you come to class dressed properly. That time, 10,000 was a lot of money. Come and see the class. By the time we finished, and it was residential. By the time they were a different breed. So, this outlook is not money driven. Knowledge is maybe money, but it depends on priority. The amount of money men spend drinking beer can buy a books, but they prefer the beer. When I travel abroad, half of my suitcase, books, even though I'm a professor. And I read economics, but I read everything else. There's nothing I have said today that has anything in economics in it. I have, if you're a professor, you should be professing. It's not about economics. After the degree we get in philosophy. So the disciplines are broad. I read everything that is of interest. A journalist is its constant search of general knowledge, in constant search of current. If you see me, I am carrying a newspaper of 2 weeks ago. The reason why I carry newspaper of 2 weeks ago is that I don't read only for news. I read the content. I read the articles written. If I've not read the article, I'm carrying the paper. Some people just flip through to get the news. No, I read. By the way, you can only write if you read. So I want to encourage you guys. I know times are hard, but it is only when times are hard that we also know the real. So times being hard, will throw up in you. No, is a noble profession. That you have duty to society, duty to citizens. But that duty can only be achieved when you yourself have have equipped yourself to attend that. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, please, again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Osita Ogbu, currently a professor of mathematics at the University